Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Vidamaneo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You know what's funny? When people hear the word silo, they usually think of those tall, cylindrical structures on farms that store grain. But in business, silos are invisible walls that pop up between departments or teams. And let me tell you, they're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. I can almost hear it, that protest from small business owners. Come on, Vicki, we're not some giant corporation with thousands of employees spread across multiple locations. How can we possibly have silos? Well, let me tell you something. It might surprise you. Silos aren't just a big business problem. I've seen them crop up in companies with as few as 10 employees, and they can be just as damaging, maybe even more so in a small business. Now, I just know you've heard someone say, "Well, that's not my department," or "Nobody told me about that." Congratulations. You've got silos. And they're probably costing you more than you realize. In fact, just last week I was talking with a colleague, let's call her Maria, who runs a digital marketing agency with about 15 people. She couldn't figure out why their projects were constantly running behind schedule, and their clients were getting frustrated. When we dug into it, the problem became crystal clear. The content team was working in their own bubble, completely disconnected from what the design team was doing. Meanwhile, the account managers were making promises to clients without checking with either team about capacity or timelines. Classic silo behavior, right? And it was costing them both money and reputation. You see, silos aren't just about departments not talking to each other. They're about knowledge, getting trapped, and opportunities being missed. When Sarah in operations doesn't know what James in sales is promising customers, or when your marketing team has no idea what challenges your customer service folks are dealing with, that's silos at work. And in a small business, when you need every competitive advantage you can get, these disconnects can be killer. Okay, so you've heard about silos before, and you probably even heard the usual advice for breaking them down. Have more meetings, create shared goals, implement better communication tools. And sure, those things matter, but let's be real. If it were that simple, wouldn't everyone have solved this problem by now? So let's talk about some approaches that actually work in the real world. First up, what I call knowledge cafes. Once a month, grab your team for an informal session. But here's the twist. Make it a show and tell. Have people bring their biggest win and their biggest challenge from the last month. The magic happens when someone from accounting realizes they have the perfect solution for that problem the tech team's been wrestling with for weeks. I saw this work beautifully at a software company where the customer support team shared that they were getting swamped with the same basic questions over and over. Well, it turns out the marketing team had recently redone the website and accidentally buried some crucial user guides. One 15-minute conversation saved hours of support time. Next, let's talk about what I call Innovation Incubator. Sounds fancy, right? But it's actually pretty simple. Set aside a specific time, maybe every other Friday afternoon, where people can work on any project they want, as long as it's not their usual job. What's the catch? Well, they have to partner with someone from a different department. I've seen this lead to incredible breakthroughs, like when a customer service rep and a developer created a new process that cut response times in half. They never would have come up with that solution working in their separate silos. Here's another one that's been a game changer. Rotating office hours. Each department sets up a specific time when they're available to answer questions or just chat about what they're working on. It's like an open door policy meets speed dating. And you know what? It works. Because people are much more likely to ask questions in an informal setting than in some stuffy meeting. One company saw their error rates drop by 30% after implementing this. Why? Because the production team finally felt comfortable asking the design team questions about specifications they weren't sure about. But my absolute favorite? The cross-departmental innovation team. Oh, this isn't your typical task force. This is a permanent group that's specifically charged with looking for ways to improve how different parts of the company work together. The key is to rotate membership every few months. That way, everyone eventually gets turned at seeing the bigger picture. I worked with a company that used this approach to completely reimagine their inventory system. Because they had people from sales, warehouse, and purchasing all working together, they created a solution that actually worked for everyone, not just one department. All right, I know. You're too busy for all this. You've got deadlines to meet and customers to serve. Listen, I get it. Running a small business is tough. There's always too much to do and not enough time to do it. But here's the thing. The time you spend breaking down silos isn't a cost, it's an investment. And it's one that pays dividends in better communication and faster problem solving. Remember, your business might be small, but that doesn't mean it can't have big problems. And silos are like weeds. They'll grow anywhere if you let them. But with the right approach, you can create a culture where walls don't exist, where information flows freely, and where every member of your team feels connected to the bigger picture. After all, isn't that why you started your business in the first place? To create something where everyone works together toward a common goal. So, take a look around your company. Do you see any walls that need to come down? I bet you do. So grab a hammer and get to work. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.